Her voice was sticky with insinuation. Shichika looked puzzled. You think you have something to make me move? Some reason I should help collect these 12 swords? Yep. You bet she did. I can't trust people who work for money, and I can't trust people who work for honor. Beyond that, there's only one thing anyone would work for. Love. Love? I can trust a man who works for love. He had a decent body, handsome enough. Maybe not so bright, but he would do. Shichika Yatsui, go ahead and fall for me. Hello, welcome to Otaku Katsu, where we give you all the vegetables and you bring the meat. I am your host, Cori, and I'm going to introduce you to our other co-hosts, Patrick.
How's it going, guys?
And Vicky.
Os. Sup?
Os! For all of you who have not watched Hunter x Hunter, do that. So, this is Otaku Katsu. If you have not listened to us before, this is episode 23. We are a podcast of three friends, and we talk about anime episode ones, new or old. And so the summer session has disappointed us, and nothing in there looks good. And if it does look good, it's secretly a disaster. I think, do we remember the name of the show that I was like, oh, I wonder what, oh my God, no.
You mean the one involving two guys and one girl?
The two boys, yeah. Yeah. It was not an anime, but it was an anime, if you know what I'm saying. And the guy gets turned into a girl. Guess what happens?
Oh boy.
It was animated.
His best friend.
Oh my goodness.
His best friend has some fun. Anyway, so this week, instead of that, we're gonna do a quick check-in. Vicky, how's your healing?
Incomplete.
Oh.
As of now.
She needs to redo it.
Work
has to redo it.
Yeah, I gotta redo it. I gotta redo the healer.
All right. Patrick, anything new as far as your neck of the woods?
Not really. I really want to. There's just so much anime in the world, and a lot of the anime that we watch in this podcast, I still need to go through it. There's just so much good stuff. I feel like we're just kind of hitting on a good road of just good shows. But like you said, with this current season, if looking on the list and the charts, nothing too much has been surprising me. So, it is what it is.
I still got to watch Odd Taxi. I'm going to watch more Odd Taxi. I'll update you all eventually. Have either of you actually watched another episode of Vivi?
Have not.
We're so busy.
There's so much.
We're so busy.
I gotta watch Mashiro no Oto.
But it's so good.
I gotta watch Taxi. Oh my goodness.
Let's go back. Has anyone but me finished the one where the pervert dies and becomes a child who lusts after his mom's boobs? I actually forgot what it was called. I just described it based on
Mushoku Tensei.
Mushoku Tensei. No, I didn't think so.
Something reincarnation.
Yes.
I used to think I was slow at completing video games, and I still am. But apparently, I'm good at watching anime. So that's what I'm going to be good for, I guess. When the world is over and I go to heaven or not, and God's like, "What'd you do good?" I'm like, "I finished shows," and they're like, "Checks out."
You could come in,
right? So. As you may have noticed or not, if you haven't seen the show before, we're doing an old show today. It is Katanagatari. I read an excerpt earlier from the novel, which are on sale for between 25 and 30 something bucks at your retailer, online or otherwise. I highly recommend it. So today we're going to talk about what we do like, what we don't like, why my cat's in the background, and if we would continue watching this show, Katanagatari. Does anyone want to give a summary, or should I do it?
You can do it.
Tell us what it's about.
Another premise is that these are 50-minute episodes. So it's a little bit longer than the usual. But it's all the story. It's all for the plot, you guys. The actual plot.
Wait,
So
are they all?
The actual
Are they
plot.
all 50 minutes?
Yes. Yes.
Dang.
So I'll give you the basics. So here's how this works. So I have the book in front of me right here, right? So the guy, Nishiosin. Is that how you say it? Nishiosin?
We'll go with
the
it.
author.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's go with that. The person who did the thing, he's really well known for being very wordy, as you probably recognize watching the show. A lot of words, a lot of subtitles. You reading this mofo, you cannot ignore it. And the writer created the Monogatari series, Bakemonogatari. He's really known for being wordy.
Yes.
And so I guess, for some reason, they decided... Yeah, all the sides... Or no, that's not side story. What does that mean? Does it have a translation? Like, Gatari, Monogatari, Bakemonogatari?
I don't know.
Because, like...
let me look it up.
Because side story in Japanese is Gaiden, but this is something else. So it has to mean something. You wouldn't keep... Anyway. Because Katanagatari, Monogatari, Bakemonogatari... Like, it's just the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so... For Katanagatari, which we will talk about the actual anime in a moment, the basic points of this was he wrote a book a month for 12 months. And then after that, they aired one 50-minute episode a month for 12 months. Mm-hmm. That is how the show was released. It was a monthly series of both anime and a novel. And so there's 12. You get the novel in sets of 3 or 4. There are 4 volumes, so math, right? 4 times 3. Anyway, it's great. I loved it, but that's why we're talking about it. So the first episode is with Shichika and Togame and Shichika's sister, whose name I cannot remember off the top of my head.
The sick
on an
girl.
island. The sick sister.
Yep.
Nanami? I think it was Nanami.
The sick but strong girl.
Yes.
Oh, if you haven't watched it, guess what? She comes back up. Anyway.
I'm glad. I'm in it for her. She's great.
He's all in for the little sister character.
No. Continue, Cori, please.
No, I think she's the older sister.
I actually don't know. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure. She might be older, but she is little, so let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, you start off on the island. Main character's there. His sister's there. She's kind of sickly. He's chopping wood. And then you realize, he's kind of a martial artist type, because you figured that out pretty quick. Then Togame shows up. She's what my translation referred to her as a strategian, which I always say in my head is strategenarian. Both are not real words. In the books, they just make it simple and call her she refers to herself as a schemer, which is a weird choice, because why would you call yourself a schemer? That's usually a negative connotation, but whatever. Translation be translation. So, in the subtitled version that I got from years ago, strategian, which is not a word. So she comes to convince him to help her find 12 legendary swords. These 12 legendary swords are basically super magical power swords. To the point at which, at the end, they are not swords. Mm-hmm. They're called swords. They're not swords. Some of them are swords. Some of them are not swords. Spoilers. Anyway, so, is that a good enough summary? I think I got the basics. She wants him to go help him find swords and fight ninjas and samurai and travel the world. It's a cute show.
It is.
And the title is very apt, because Gatari means tale or story. So it's literally sword tale.
Yes.
Sword tales.
Or tale of swords.
If I was smart, the book I have in front of me says sword tale on it. So I'm glad that I didn't read anything.
This guy's... Yeah, he is... as the writer of the Monogatari series... It's like he very wordy, and I'm sure there's some puns in there with the like Katanagatari, like the saying it of that, or Bakemonogatari, like it just kind of flows, and it blends in together. But yeah, that's something that the English probably we will not really know as a non-native person. But yeah, I think you summed it up quite well.
So, Vicky, what did you like about this show?
First of all, I didn't realize this show was what you said, like a decade old or older.
I think it came out in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's around there. The art style is so interesting and different than like most anything else that you don't really notice the aging of it. So I was like, I thought this was like maybe a couple years.
Super well stylized.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even the book, like, you can tell the difference because it's obviously drawn in the book, and the actual, like, covers for each individual are in here, and the art style is very stylized.
Ooh.
You know? Right? Very pretty. Yeah, I love it.
For our listeners, it's very pretty art.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please. Go Google Katanagatari. Katanagatari.
Yeah.
Google it.
Basically, if you were playing like Wheel of Fortune, you would just get all the A's.
A's.
Exactly.
Can I buy a vowel? Yes. A. Oh.
Spend all your money.
All of them.
Spend all your money.
All the vowels. But yeah, I did like it.
I would win that one on Wheel of Fortune and nothing else. I'd be like, Katanagatari. Boom.
Pretty much. Or Bakemonogatari. No. Well, yep.
All the vowels, yep. You know, that's funny. Wheel of Fortune and with Japanese katakana, I mean, that would be amazing. It'd just be, I would like to buy. No one wants to buy vowels because every vowel is going to pop up.
But yeah, it was fun. It was interesting. I liked the characters all seemed separate. Like the one ninja you are encountering seemed like, oh, I wonder what the other ninjas are like, because this one was so weird.
Mm-hmm.
So weird. So yeah, it was interesting.
Anything else you liked about it? 50-minute show, you got 3 things to say?
That I liked about it.
Yeah.
That I like. Because if we get into dislikes, it's gonna be...
Ooh.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear that part of the section of the show.
That's fair. Yeah. So, Patrick, what did you like about it?
I really think the characters are a big standout of the show. Like, I really... Because in this episode, we were introduced to 4 characters, and like for this 50 minutes show, right? And then they really drill in like their characteristics, their personality, like their how they act, and like the main character, the guy is like, yeah, he's just kind of a boonie. They're living on this island, so like he doesn't really know. Like there's a point where like he doesn't. There's a point where like he kicks the ninja. But he doesn't realize that because he's like, oh, I didn't recognize your face. I just did out of instinct. It's like, he's not like a genius. He's just like, oh, I'm just living through instinct.
So specifically in this situation, the ninja kidnaps Togame, the strategian, and then transforms into her.
Yes.
Just does it. Just like, I can transform, and it's gross and weird. And then he runs up to, as Togame, he runs up to Shichika, and he just kicks him.
Right,
and runs up.
And then the ninja's like, how did you know? And he's like, I didn't. I just did it.
Exactly.
I could have killed. Good thing you weren't her. She'd be dead.
Yeah. Runs up all cute with her voice being like, Shichika, and just gets kicked straight. It was like, wow.
Yeah, it's like it just exemplifies like it's that weird comedy. I mean, this show has a little bit of everything. It has like good action scene, but a lot of comedy and a lot of dialogue too. That's probably where I can see where Vicky is leaning into. But that's just this type of show really. But what I really do like about it is also the music, because very stylistic. They gotta do some really nice old timey Japanese sounds, and like it really sets the mood for each of the settings. But characters and music, I mean, that's characters alone. This show stands on its characters and its kind of unique style and design, right? The faces, I mean, it's not as special, but like I think it's kind of hard to date this show. I think when I'm watching it, because I didn't think that this was like 2013 or 10 years ago. But if this show were to come out now, I'd be like, yeah, this seems like kind of a this could be a totally modern show. It's just because the style is so you can't really date it based off of how it looks, unlike other shows like you're like, oh yeah, this show is like Loveless, like yes, this is probably 2000 anime, right? But for this show, it's like it's timeless in its style, and that's definitely a plus on it, because you don't really feel like you're watching something old or watching something new. You're just like, here is a weird experience with these characters, and that is its selling point, is definitely its characters, as well as its complicated plot and story. I mean, not complicated, but very drawn out plot. I'm trying to imagine if they did 30-minute episodes, if that would help it, or how that would like, because I feel like you're watching a movie every time with the 50 minutes show. So that is a hard sale. But with that being said, Cori, what do you like about the show? Obviously, you.
So, correction. This was originally aired as an anime in 2010. But it got a rerun in 2013. So it is a 11-year-old anime, and it does not look.
It does not like
It has not
fantastic
aged.
Exactly.
It's a bit like if you were to watch like Samurai Jack, because it's so different from everything else.
It has that style too, where some of the lines are not drawn in, like it just blends into color to color with no borders on it. Yes, that's true.
Right. So I like mentioned Noin before, and Patrick and I watched the first episode, just waiting for Vicky. And the thing that I always got about Noin was that in the battles, they just don't have line. Like imagine bad action anime, but like the details are there, but the shapes get like loose, real loose. Except it's on purpose, and that's Noin, where they just don't have those lines. Katanagatari is similar in that there's not a lot of black lines to separate colors and people, but you can clearly tell like it's not sloppy. It's very purposeful. And the art specifically in the on the visual novel or the novel and all that other stuff, the light novel, I guess is what it's considered as, is really that way. It's very strong use of colors. The color palette is broad, but it's bright. It's distinct. You're not going to get like a lot of colors mixed together because it's very much solid color and in a completely contrasting different solid color. I like the style of this show so much. I like the style of this show so much that by the end of the show, I took as one of my many pseudonyms one of the main villains. I love the style of the show so much that the way that the villain says his name is why I like his name so much. So there's a character that you will meet maybe 4 or 5 episodes in. He doesn't really do anything until later. His name is Emon Zaimon. And I love how that shit rolls off your tongue.
Emon Zaimon.
Emon Zaimon. Emonzaemon.
That's pretty good.
I love that.
That's pretty good.
I love that. Oh, Emon Zaimon. I used to do like, he's not a big villain. He's an important villain. But you're not gonna, you're not going to be searching the internet and just see him randomly. You have to look for it. Because this is not one of those shows that was huge. And I think the once a month airing of it probably didn't help. What I like about it, I like the character interactions. It is wordy as all heck. But on the scale of reading a lot and trying to understand everything and prior knowledge and knowledge of Japanese culture, it falls squarely between Pokemon and Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei.
Mm-hmm.
Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei gives you a headache in 24 minutes. Because you're just like, oh my god, I need to understand so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you've never watched anime before and you watch Sayonara Zetsubo Sensei, you will miss 80% of the jokes. You'll know it's funny, but you won't remember why at all. It's a lot to read. And there's like 2 seasons of that, and I love it. And the music in that is great too. Music is good in Katanagatari, but nothing I'm like enthralled with. But I'm not a huge music person when it comes to this stuff anyway. And Togame is probably in my top 5 tsunderes. As much as I like to rally against tsunderes and how they're not real, and if they are real, they're terrible human beings, and you shouldn't do anything about it because it's a terrible way to live and get your heart broken.
Cori, it's as we established before, Cori. It's okay to like bad things. We may not support the things, but it's okay to like them. You guys, you just gotta own it. As long as you own it, it's fine, right, Vicky?
Sometimes you just gotta.
So they gotta own it, right, Vicky?
Do some healing.
Vicky, yeah, exactly, Vicky.
What?
Some people in this room like certain things. I don't know. Other people may not like it.
Wait,
we're just fine with that. It's okay. It's okay. It's...
Anyway, so off the rip, just there's like of my personal favorite tsunderes, it's probably Togame. Oh shoot, I forgot her name. What's her face from Steins Gate? Red hair.
Kirisu? What's her name?
Kirisu something. Yeah.
Yes.
Then I'm a big fan of Holo from Spice and Wolf. Those 3 off the top of my head anyway. Because they're not as bad as, say, like Asuka from Evangelion or something. Mm-hmm. Or most harem anime protagonists. Or not protagonists, female love interests. They're not nearly as bad. They have their flaws, but that's what makes them so enjoyable to watch and be like, oh, you're all right. I like the main character. I like the action. Now, honestly, in the first episode, I would say that the action was pretty subdued. And in some episodes, it's just not the main drive. There's a lot of talking, but
a lot of talking.
We're gonna get to it. But the character, I think the coolest idea in this show is the coolest thing about this is that the main character is a swordsman who does not use swords. And more specifically, he's a swordsman who breaks swords with his body.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's
he
cool.
He stated that they're a branch of their family. Like, they're not swordsmen because they can't. They're not swordsmen because they don't use swords. They're swordsmen who can't use a sword because, like, when that ninja guy who transformed to his body, apparently he like replicates his whole. He transformed into the main character guy, Shichika, and he tries to swing the sword, but the sword lifts off of his hand because like his body would not allow him to use the sword. So they create this technique, the empty sword style, which they use their hands as their weapons because it feels like they physically cannot use a sword as a plot point. So they created a fighting style that doesn't use a sword. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, they just can't use swords. Like, because if they I don't know if that comes to plot 2 later where he tries to swing a sword, like, it just doesn't work at all. Like, he just slips through his hands or something. But that's kind of how I saw it when that ninja guy was trying to attempt to attack him with a sword. Like, his body wouldn't allow him to swing it or something. And I think that was kind of a funny part.
It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool that there's this whole like system of swordsmanship without a sword. Like, they make their body, arms and legs into their weapon, and it's like, that's interesting. And just the moves that they all have. I wonder if they're all named after flowers.
Yes,
because there was like peony and chrysanthemum and daffodil.
Yes, like, absolutely.
It's just pretty cool.
Like, as like I haven't read like any of the novel, but like as the author, you can see his style and his very like he really goes in it, especially with the narrative. And he's gonna go in it with all the sword, all the techniques. Like these characters are just like such done in a specific way that it's like, yeah, this is the author who wrote the Monogatari series. Like you could clearly tell like that's his style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so continue with my having the source material in my face. Kotoryu literally means way of the empty sword.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's his fighting style. Yeah, just a lot of like puns and names that are very self-explanatory. It's great. I love this kind of stuff. Like if you like this may be an overly strong comparison, but I think it is the anime equivalent of watching like an Aaron Sorkin show, like The West Wing or Newsroom or something else that like the dialogue is good. It's witty. It's not as like fast, but that also might be because I'm reading it. So it's different. It's got a flavor to it that is similar to and can get to the point where it's like just rapid fire, boom, 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 boom. But obviously, again, like we're going from one language audio to my language written, and so when I'm interpreting it, it's just not the same. But I would say it's like watching Samurai West Wing.
Kinda. But going on to how wordy it is.
Yes, so what don't you like about this show? This wonderful, amazing show that you can't buy on the internet?
It's just, I appreciate the dialogue. It's very witty. It's very good. It's very much like a fan fiction that's just got, like, you put in your best, like, stuff in it. But it's so much, so fast, that it made the 50 minutes seem like 90 because they're going back and forth so fast. And it's like, real conversations don't go like that. Not that it has to be real, but it's like, take a breath. Like, speak slower.
Oh my goodness.
Well, one of the jokes that they tell twice is she expects him to say yes to something. Oh, yeah. And before he says yes, she's like, of course you would. Da, 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 da. Wait, what? Like, she spent a whole paragraph. And then she's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So it is a, they know it. He knows it. And so that's part of it. So, Patrick, what else don't you like?
Yeah, no, I mean, not to say that I don't like that part of the show. It's definitely going to be another selling point of like, because as the author, I mean, I haven't watched all of the Monogatari series because there's just so many, but having this episode that I've seen, it is his clear, distinct style of using puns and all of these literary techniques that probably is lost in translation for your English audience. Like, obviously, as a non-native Japanese viewer, like you're gonna miss so much of the content, and like there's gonna be a lot of translation notes. Let's say if you're watching the subs, particularly with his style. I was kind of surprised that there wasn't that many for this show, but this might have been his earlier work or something. But watching Bakemonogatari, like there are like a lot of points where it's just full on dialogue. It's just like there's no stop, like Vicky said, and you're just like, that is also the selling point of the show. It's like, do you want to? It's like you have it. What is this? What is that movie? It's called My Dinner with Andre. It's like that, but like constantly more wordy because it's just like it just keeps kind of going on and on and on. I'm not too big a fan of that, but it's kind of like Vicky said, as a 50-minute episode, it gets kind of dragged on. If it was a 20-minute episode, maybe it would feel not as, I wouldn't say rushed, but just wouldn't feel as heavy, and because you're just sitting there digesting every word, trying to digest every word, right? For 50 minutes, it's a long it's a long episode, guys. But
it was a lot of rewinding.
Oh yeah, that's true. For Bakemono, for his other Bakemono series, you're gonna like press the arrow left like a bunch of times. Like, what did he say? What did the translation say? Because again, with his style, it makes sense in a novel. Like if you're reading it as a book, you could take your time and you could like go back and like reread it and it makes sense. But when you animate it, man, those text boxes are just the translator. he has a lot of work to do. He has a big job for his for these anime shows, but it might seem a little flat at some parts because maybe you lose interest, but it depends on the viewer, really. This is a hard, like, what you don't like about it and what you do like about it. This is gonna make it or break it for the show, I feel like. So it's difficult.
And I wouldn't say what?
Go ahead.
Well, I wouldn't say that I dislike how wordy it is. It's just, if you think about it in terms of an anime episode, it's like, this is too much. I just want to sit for my 24 minutes and absorb, like, get some ambiance, some rest point.
You cannot say I did not warn you.
No,
I said it like 12 times that it is I've said an hour. Ooh. It's an hour-long episode 12 times. Like, I've said that so many times.
It's not even that it's an hour long. It's that it's an hour long and it's packed every single, like, minute with, like, it's like 50 words per minute that you're reading, at least.
Yes.
And so...
it feels like you're speed running. If you're reading a book, this is the speed run.
It really is. You are literally reading a small light novel when you watch this.
I felt like I read a book.
You know what? That might literally be accurate. Because, it's literally... Alright, so you see this book I have on screen that no one else can tell because you're not... This is the book. Yeah. But this is 3 of them. This is 3 of them. This is 3 episodes.
Okay.
Wow.
So you are literally... It's a 50-minute show covering the content of 1 month of writing from this guy, because he was releasing 1 a month for 12 months.
Which is kind of cool. Like, if you think of it as, like, small mini events.
Yes.
Like a mini series. That's cool. But I was prepped for an anime episode, not an anime movie. Which is what this is. Or an anime reading comprehension test.
Vicky is right. Again, I'm backing on Vicky on this, because if you call it, like, you call it an anime, it is an anime, right? But it's like, it's not something you would introduce. I feel like it's not something you would really introduce to a normal person who wants to get into anime, unless it's their thing. Like, of course, you introduce this show about sea swords and this kind of old Japanese feudal style.
What I'm hearing is Vicky would not recommend someone watch this episode as their first anime, but they would recommend Redo Healer.
Yes, I would.
Yes, you would.
That is bonkers. All right, moving on.
No. Let's be honest.
Someone who does not use the term bonkers.
You wouldn't, Vicky.
I absolutely would. And, yeah. It's not bad. It's definitely something that will make or break, like Patrick was saying, where it's like you take it or you leave, because it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of rewinding and pausing. And I do appreciate a good pun, but not when there's like 30 words at the bottom and like a quick note at the top, and it's like gone. All of it's gone.
It helps to have... Okay, this is intermediate quality anime. You need to have had some years under your belt of watching anime, because if you watch this or you watch Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei, you will get overwhelmed, you will get a headache, and you will be like, ain't worth it. And I promise you, both of these shows are worth it, with the caveat that it is work when it comes right down to it.
Yes.
Like, it just is work, because it's enjoyable, but it's just gonna take more from you than just like throwing it up on Netflix.
Exactly.
Which is why this show, here's my criticism. I can't buy this show.
Oh.
If I want to buy this show, I need to buy a European or a Japanese based like machine to play it on, because you cannot buy this show in, was it NAL? Whatever the American standard is for video. You can get the PAL version, you can get the Japanese, NTSC, that's what it was. You can't get it in America. You cannot buy it. And I've been looking off and on for years. Now, if you want to spend a couple $100 extra bucks, maybe, but there's no good way to watch this show, which brings me to my question. How did you watch it?
I acquired it on the internet.
It was given to me from a friend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had a previous exchange with the internet, and I received it in the past, probably in 2011.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible. If they say, hey, Katanagatari, $60, I'll be like, done. Give me the special edition, please. Like, I would buy it, but I can't. It's not. You cannot buy it anymore. It hasn't been able to be purchased in over 5 years. So, if you can find it, get it. But it's an enjoyable show. Anything else you didn't like, Patrick?
Not really. Again, I do like the show. I really do, and it's just as a critique of the dialogue. But other than that, I don't really think anything else. Like, I like a lot. There's a lot of things to like about the show. So just the long dialogue. And again, if I just always go back to thinking to myself, like, if it was 30-minute tidbits, if they would have cut it or had a break, because the Bakemonogatari series, like that series, it's different subject, different topic, whatever. But like the same big dialogue conversations work well in that. I don't know if it's because it's broken down into shorter segments, but that one has a huge success, as well.
If it helps, just pause it at 25 minutes. It's worth it. Because I definitely watched the first half of this and then went and did something else and came back like 3 days later and watched the other half. Mm-hmm. But I've already seen it, so I wasn't worried about it. But I think I remember the first time I watched this feeling like, damn, these are long. Yeah.
You cannot put this on. You cannot put this in the background. You watch this, you got to full screen it because like you don't.
You have to.
Because there is a lot of plot. Again, with dialogue heavy animes, there's a lot going on. A lot of interesting stuff too. I mean, it's great. And so that story is good. It needs to pull you in. But the words may not pull you in.
This is not a 101. This is like a 301 type.
Yeah, this is
anime.
This is your junior year. This is like, we're 3 years and we you know what to expect, or you have a little bit better expectations.
How to know if you're ready for Katanagatari? Do you know what an honorific is? Give me 4 examples.
Exactly. Yes. It's like
that's right? True.
Do you know what the Meiji Restoration is?
Oh, yes.
Please explain who Nobunaga is
exactly.
and why he was betrayed by blank.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which ninja betrayed?
Name 3 types of ninjutsus. or kenjutsus. Name any type of jutsus. Ken, a nin, all of these.
Name 3 different anime where they use the term Shinigami.
Oh my goodness. That's...
Oh wow. Yeah.
I think I know 3. Bleach is obviously the easy one.
Bleach, Death Note, and... Oh.
Ooh, I didn't think of Death Note.
What's the third one?
It's either Soul Eater or another one.
Soul Eater.
And then they have not to be confused with Shikigami, which I think are like the paper doll things.
Or Shiki, the one anime about those vampires with the boss, like, opening song by Bucktick. So good.
One more test. What do Japanese people think Americans look like? And bonus points.
How do they sound?
Oh, shoot. How do they sound? And bonus points. Who always has the technology in the military to save the day? If you said Japan, you're wrong.
Who has guns?
It's always America. There are 2 options. America, and we have super amazing Japanese weapons. Those are the only options. And otherwise, it's America. In anime. And now, that was mostly in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s. I haven't seen as much of that in the last 10 years or so of anime, but I would see it so often. It'd be like, America's going to save us, but also America's a jerk. Like, every time. Mm-hmm. Loud, blonde, American females.
Or male. I've seen some
Not
obnoxious.
as many males though.
Blonde males.
Usually the blonde males are not American; they're German.
They're also
that's true.
they may also be the main character of the show, like Naruto or possibly a Goku who becomes Super Saiyan, but whatever. You know, blonde hair, blue eyes. That's the Super Saiyan. You know. Anyways, the Super Saiyan race. I mean, okay, let's not get into it.
I was waiting for that Nazi connection to come in.
No.
Because I was thinking about it.
Race. They got the armor. They got their raw plants. You know, all this stuff.
Look. You can't say blonde hair, blue eyes, Super Saiyan race. You can't say it like that. It just immediately sounds like you're talking about Nazis.
It just goes wrong.
It immediately goes wrong.
Those Super Saiyan suits were pretty awesome, guys.
I mean, if I had expandable armor that could go to the size of a gigantic monkey, that'd be pretty good armor. Yeah. Okay, so
Cori.
Yes.
What is your critique on this show? Like, what do you not like about the show? If there's
no, I think that is the critique. It's fucking long.
Sure.
It's 50 minutes. If they split it up into 24 episodes of 24 minutes each, with the opening, ending, and all that stuff, it would do a service to the watcher. I think the show itself is a gimmick, and that's why it's fun. And it's an interesting story, so that's why it doesn't suck. But I think the gimmick is long. And it's like, I don't want to compare it to Haruhi, but it's just a gimmick of, guess what I did in a month? This. Guess what I did in a month? This.
Right.
In both book and anime form. And I appreciate it, but it's long. If they broke it up more with fighting, sometimes that would help more. Sometimes it's a lot of fighting, and it's really good animation to watch.
Yeah, the fight
especially
scenes.
for the time.
So good.
And I love the concept of the show. So I have so little negative to say that I honestly forgot that I thought the show was 50 minutes long, and that was too much.
I agree.
Like I tell you it's bad, and then I forget until I'm like watching it. Like, oh my god, this is really long. Like. It's not the slowest 50 minutes. Like, I'm not passing out, but I am reading a lot. And it's just different. It's a different feel than what normally happens when you watch TV, which is you stare and then you're like, oh, I'm done.
Yep.
You got to put work into it.
But what I want to talk about is why you should definitely watch the show, which is one, I have been unsuccessfully trying to create an AMV out of the last episode of this show with a song from Tsubasa Chronicles for about 10 years. I have never been able to make it good enough. Like, the song is great, and I've never been able to make that into an AMV. And the action is great, but I can't put them together. Because basically, this is a spoiler for this show. So just, the people who are not listening to this, he's going to break the shit out of some sword.
I figured.
Yeah. So, it's the culmination of like 11 episodes of him not breaking swords. And then on the 12th episode, breaking all the swords. And it's just, and again, I'm not even spoiling the part that's important, but it's just great. Like the build up was great. And the just,
if you're going to blue ball us for 11 hours, that 12th hour better be amazing. That's all I'm saying. Because, like, the girl says, okay, so the girl, at the end of the episode, like, she says, like, there are four objectives or 4 goals, like, you gotta follow, like, 4 rules, One is to not break the sword. I'm like, he's gonna break all these rules. Because the first episode, he says 4 rules, like, he's gonna break some of these rules. Don't break a sword, protect yourself, protect me, and then protect yourself, but protect yourself in a loving way, I guess.
Basically, Chekhov's
gun, exactly. So those are gonna flop.
That was Chekhov's gun. It's like this is important, this is important, this is important. Why? You'll find out.
Exactly.
It's super good. I swear to God. I know it's a lot to ask, and I know that since you two can't finish anime saving my life.
Oh, that is true. That'd be difficult.
Maybe your lives. Maybe if it was your lives, you could watch anime, but not my life.
No, absolutely, I would. No, I
would. I would 100% want you all to, anyone hearing this, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you've never watched anime before, and for some reason this is the first episode of any anime you've ever watched after we just told you everything we just told you. I would want you to finish it. This is it is a good show. It may not be my favorite show, but all of the things that make it unique make it worth watching.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It is an experience.
Which is to say, I would watch this. I will put it on my to-finish list.
That's like on my video game to-finish list, like 20 years later.
No, it's like Vicky's like maybe 173. You know, there's a lot above that's prioritized.
Yeah.
Patrick, how long did it take for you to actually watch Steins Gate?
I was going to say.
Because we started talking about it in like 2014. 2014, is that about right?
Yeah, that sounds right. It's probably been 7-6 years or so.
And then you finally finished it in like 2020, right?
Like
Dang.
fairly recent, actually.
God, 6 years.
What? Let's get into you and you today.
They had to create...
Here we go.
Hey, I'm on episode 39.
Of like
I've been
56.
on episode 39 for like 5 months, but I'm still on episode 39.
See?
So.
It's not just us.
I'm making... BS. I make progress. I may watch one episode a month, but I'm making progress.
Yep.
He didn't watch one episode because he's like, I gotta make my own time travel plot. How'd that go, Patrick? How'd that go?
I'm still working on it.
How'd that
still working on it.
That's a real thing.
It's tough, you guys.
You can't taint the pool.
Yes.
You gotta
don't be influenced.
Okay. And I gave him like 4 years, and I'm like, so, you done? He's like, no. I'm like, dude, watch Steins Gate, damn it. And then a whole new Steins Gate anime came out.
I'm like, oh, Jesus.
But yeah, Patrick, what are your thoughts on watching this in the future?
Again, I do want to watch it. It probably is a little bit higher on my list because of the style, definitely. And like, I like the characters so much that I'm just like, I want to see. It's gonna be like this. They make it or break the show, and like I could deal with all the dialogue if I could just have more character interactions. I agree.
Yes. The only thing
I agree. Togami is great.
The only thing I need from both of you.
Yes, Togami
is great. The only thing I need from either of you. Okay, let me say this: there's a lot of female characters. Don't get too excited. There are some more that are great too. And I think there's at least one Bishi just for you. Vicky.
Yeah, I saw
that little silhouette.
He was the swordsman?
The little small silhouette.
I saw him.
Okay. Him too, but there's actually a whole like meta joke about him that only makes sense if you've watched the episode that is the meta joke about him. But if I explain it beforehand, it's not as funny, but it's also irritating, but it's also
funny.
Again,
this show, with what we don't like about it, lots of references, like things that you would not understand unless you were like in the know. So you kind of feel left out of the joke a lot of times, and you gotta go backtrack that and read the translation notes if there are translation notes somewhere in the ether. So,
or you could be like me and read the book, because I'm probably gonna, instead of watching the whole show again right now, I'm probably just gonna read the books that I spent a good amount of money buying all 4 of. A couple months ago.
Here's a hot take. Like all anime guys, anime is a speed run, I think, of the books. If there's a light novel, it makes sense that this was a light novel, right? Like you said, it makes sense. There's a lot in it, so. But
more like a heavy novel.
There are no. Oh wait, okay. So
dialogue.
So basically, each book is around 90 to 100 pages long.
We read 100 pages worth of dialogue in 50 minutes. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Is that fast or is that slow as a reader? How many pages per minute?
Okay, but remember, because it's a book, they have to describe their inner thoughts and their positions and the environment and all the other stuff that makes books slower than a 50-minute show. So... come on, this art is so good. So crisp and clean. That's a ninja, by the way.
It is. I can tell by the pointed hair. But it's good, but man, it's work.
It's a hard sell, right?
And it's not even like a real like it's like a romance without being a romance. It's not romantic.
Yeah, what the hell? She was like, my reason is you should love me.
Hey.
Like, fall for me.
Which straight up funny,
That's
right?
great.
Like, that is just some goofy, like, what?
And
what?
then this little country bumpkin is like, I've fallen for you.
Yup, I know. Exactly.
And do you believe him?
No, I don't believe him. You don't.
I don't
believe him
don't
for a
believe him
second.
for a second. No.
He's just doing it to do it. Like, I think he's just like, all right. He's
so naive that this is the first other human he's ever seen since his sister.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's romantically interested in her. I think he's just
he's motivated through some other instinct. He's like, because I believe the ninja.
Like curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't. This is less of a love story than Deadpool 1, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Deadpool's one of the best love stories.
Wait, or is Deadpool 2 a better love story? Oh,
no, because that's love lost.
Mm.
This was love had, and then it's love lost.
Hey, the best love story is love less.
Well, we don't want to get
you had
into
a lot of gravitation when you said that.
Okay, let's keep going. What are other? You know, you gotta be really detective. Okay, this is really tough. I can't really do it. Never mind.
Oh, okay. I was gonna follow it up with some real bad, like, you know, that's what I learned when I went to Oregon High School Host Club. But you didn't even follow up with anything, so I got nothing. I wasn't even that good anyway.
I'll jump on that landmine. But Vicky, will you watch the show? I will watch the show. I would want to continue to watch the show, but that may be on a lower priority list. But I would want to continue. Vicky,
I too will watch it. Maybe it'll be once a month, but I will get through it because it's the fights are so interesting. Just it's so.
I cannot stop talking about how much I love this show. Like, every time I'm like, one last thing, and then someone said, I'm like, yeah, but this is great. Like, the Maniwa ninjas are awesome. Like, they're just awesome. They're not like super amazingly special, but they're just fun. It's just like, I want to see more of these ninjas.
The first guy was amazing. The transformation, the sword swallowing, like, he's great.
He's like the most boring one, too.
Right.
He's not even the best ninja.
Wow.
He's so cool.
When he was like, I threw the shuriken on accident because I was so embarrassed for you.
Exactly.
I was like, that's so funny.
There's some good comedy in this. It is good. It's like, it has a little bit of everything, you guys. And I think it's a great point, but you have to pay attention. You can't put this in the background. You gotta focus all your attention on the show. Yeah. Yep.
Unlike jobless reincarnation, where it's like you fall into it. This one you have to concentrate to get into it because the dialogue.
So as a service, right, that we provide in these first episode pseudo reviews, right? This is a show that while it makes a good presentation, as a first episode, it is discouraging because it's a lot.
Yes.
Like, there are a lot of shows out there that their first episodes are kind of and then people are like, come on, give it time. Give it your 3-episode rule. This is a good example of, you don't need a 3-episode rule. You just need to know if this is for you or not. Because if you have zero patience, you're going to have some trouble with this one. Just a little, though. It's not, like, boring. It's just long.
It's like taking an advanced class for fun.
As an elective. This is like an elective.
You elect to take an AP class and you're just like, why did I do this? But, you get to, like, blow up stuff in chemistry or something. Eventually.
I like that analogy a lot. That's pretty good. You get to do some interesting... You enter and you experience some things that you wouldn't have experienced. Like, some interesting ideas. Yeah.
So, to continue to gush on this show, all right, as I do have one thing I want you both of you to promise to me. But before I get to that, or if I forget, remind me. The fighting is so good. the way he has to figure out how not to break the swords is like what drives the entire action of the show. Like, there's a lot of tension, and there's a lot of people talking, and there's a lot of cool sword fights. But like I said before, they're not all literal swords, and that's what makes the show like, the fuck is this not sword? Like, how's he gonna not break that? I don't even know. And like, just watching him, and the fighting is cool, and it's flashy sometimes, and it's smooth. Right, it's good animation. They show the fight. It's not like too much like, cheap animation. It's just worth it. It's good. It's worth it. It's great, and I love it. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Please look forward to it, as the Japanese apparently say all the time.
Yoroshiku
So the thing I want you,
Yes.
the thing I want you to both to do, if you actually make it to the end, I want you to tell me, honestly, if Emon Zaimon is not one of the coolest ass villains in a show you've seen. He's not the best villain, but he is just, I don't know. It might just be me. It might just be me personally, but I think he's, like, if I was the kind of person to buy figurines, that's one of those that I'd need. And it's a guy. He's so cool.
That'd be your guy, your only guy figurine.
Wow.
It might be. I mean, I've seen a couple Goku figurines that I had a quick second about. And I as you know, I got my little Demon Slayer pillow back there. And I love the art in Demon Slayer. It's actually super hard to find something that matches the quality and the sparkliness of the actual animated scenes and as a still, because I've been looking at like, buying stuff like Displate and other stuff like that, and like I look for stuff and I'm like, it's too static. I need it to look a little, it needs to pop better, and I'm just like, ugh.
Like
Demon Slayer, good Dragon Ball art, Full Metal Alchemist, just like there's good art out there where the colors really pop, but most of the time the stuff that's commercial is kind of like, here's a screen cap. here's just a basic drawing. Like, I don't want basic. I can steal basic off of somebody's wallpaper on the internet. I want something that just like boom, and I can put it on my wall and be like, that's some awesome ass art, right? So, Vicky, have you figured out what anime you want to watch?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Next week.
Yes. I want to get weird because we were talking about weird anime the other week. Paranoia Agent.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while for me.
This is great. I'm excited to revisit this.
I don't want to revisit that at all.
What's wrong, Cori?
I could not watch that show. I tried to watch that on Cartoon Network back in the day, and I just got... First I was bored, and then I was confused, and then I stopped. I did not like that show at all. And it was like all the rage for like 4 years. Yeah. And it was only like 10 episodes long. It's not long.
It's not.
Yeah, and it's so weird that it's been a while for me to see it, and like I don't even really remember all of the details of it. So I'm like, yeah, let's take a dive on that. And I don't think a lot of people have seen it because it's like a harder one to get into, just because it's like, what is happening? What is going on? I don't understand this. Let's go. But yeah, let's take a little dive into that.
All right. Paranoia Agent for episode 24.
The next week after that will be my pick, and I want to say Higurashi, the new one, I believe, what the 2020 release.
2020.
I'm not gonna subject you to the first one that was like, I don't know, 2010 release, but
1998.
Yeah, something long time ago. Feels like for a while, but that one had a little more of the chibi type or cutesy design, but still it gets into it. But I'm excited to see the 2020 release and see how they handle that. But yep, that will be for 25 in 2 weeks.
All right. So let's transition over to our B-side. I've got a couple thoughts on what we can talk about today. So I'm thinking of it like this. It's going to be like answer the question in one of two ways.
Mm-hmm.
Weird anime you watched before that wasn't that good, but you know other people haven't watched. Or anime you absolutely just don't like, and you just want to talk about why you shouldn't watch it. Okay?
Animes. Yeah.
So weird ones that you've watched and are just like, whatever, I don't recommend it, but it exists, let me tell you about it. Or stuff that's just terrible and you don't like it. There was some like weird crap anime on Toonami back in the day that was like GXP.
Bobo.
Well, Bobo, I didn't watch Bobo at all.
That's
I didn't
weird,
want to
but
watch that.
It's fun.
It's fun, but sometimes you're just like, what the hell am I watching? It's just like, I'm for it, but I'm like, sometimes like, what is this? Like, you don't get it. Like what's going on? But yeah, go on, Corey, you're saying.
And then, so my example, there's an anime out there called Photon. Now, I don't expect anyone to know what this is. For some reason, a buddy of mine in college, who I still talk to today, bought it. I don't know what it was. And it's so dumb. And it's so weird. So it's got a similar art style to Tenchi Muyo as far as the main character, Photon.
Mm-hmm.
But Photon is like an alien child or something set on Earth, but Earth in like dinosaur times. But he's like super strong. But he's not a caveman. But he's stupid like he's a caveman. And then there's aliens involved. And it's like 10 episodes long. I don't even know what it's about. That's it. And I'm just like, what? Like, it's just a weird show about like an alien kid on Earth who's super strong and super dumb. And he comes out of a pill or something like Mork and Mindy. And then dinosaurs and aliens. It's just like, and then like, there's a female character who wants to like bang him constantly because that's what happens.
We gotta have that for them. Them views, you know. We always gotta have that with that character.
I mean, I guess. Let me
geez.
Let me see if I can find Photon on the internet and give you a better. I should have put TV, huh? Oh, there we go. Photon, The Idiot Adventures, is a Japanese OVA series created by Masaki Kajishima. The series follows Photon, a boy that possesses superhuman strength but is extremely simple-minded. He engages in heroic adventures of different varieties. He marries a rebel space pilot named Kine and becomes involved in fighting an evil wannabe galactic emperor and his bumbling henchmen. Photon's marriage to Kine is a bit odd, as Kine is well more matured than Photon. Vicky knows all about that. Yet Photon only sees Kine as more like On's sister, who used to be On, and Photon's guardian, whom he cared for. Extremely. That's the Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia.
Oh boy. This is not necessarily a weird. I guess it's not a weird pick, but it's kind of it's ghost stories. I mean, it's like the infamous one about like the American dub did whatever they want to do with it, and it's like it's renowned as being so bad that it's funny. Have you guys heard about that one?
I don't think I have.
Yeah, it's like for the translation dub, like they just gave it it was so bad. I think it was like not received well or something. But in America translation, it's just like let's just dub whatever we want to tell whatever story, and so they kind of went wild with the translation and with the dubbing of it, and so it doesn't even follow the actual Japanese it may not even follow the actual story, and it's just some really weird things. Like it's bad dubbing, but for the fun of it, we should watch it sometime just to kind of see because it's like one of those shows. It's sort of like the reason why you would watch The Room, just kind of see what it's about. Like, what is this? It's like, what is this dubbing experience is like? Like, let's just have fun with it. It seems like that's what they did in the American release of it. It's just kind of a strange anime thing, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, this show was connected very tangentially to the Tenchi Muyo universe, apparently.
Photon? It looks just like Tenchi Muyo. It looks the characters
does. And that's
similar.
I would not watch it. I had another show in my mind, but I can't remember all of a sudden what it was. Vicky, what you got?
I would say never watch Shin-Chan. It's super annoying.
Crayon Shin-Chan.
It's just so annoying. It's like,
that show.
But do watch Salty Ray, which I saw like years ago. It's like there's some humans on this planet, and there's something that happened, and like a bunch of people died, and like this old guy finds this android and like teaches her how to be human, and then like adopts her. I never finished the series, but it was interesting. It was cool. Like this cool robot learning how to be like a human. Cori, it might be up your alley. It's kind of like parenting without dropping any bunnies.
Oh, jeez. That's the anime you should watch. Because it gets weird at the end, guys.
I'll go on the record and say again, I don't like Fooly Cooly, so don't watch that.
Oh,
well, I was gonna, Fooly Cooly was gonna be one of my choices for us to see. Love Fooly.
I figured.
That's also a hit or miss, I think.
Very popular.
It's very popular, yeah, but it is very strange. It is very strange.
I got another like middling review on Gunslinger Girl. I think it's not a bad show, but it's very much a meh show. But I definitely bought like both seasons of Gunslinger Girl.
Wow.
I'm watching this shit because that show is basically get a girl who gets almost killed, turn her into a mind-controlled assassin, and then have male handlers take her around the world and kill people. And it kind of deals with the moral issues, but it kind of doesn't.
I've seen some episodes of that. It's interesting, because I think she was like a sniper.
It is. One of them was, yes. It's a really, I don't know. Similar to Read or Die, in that it's like, the premise is fun, but the execution could have been better. But I really enjoyed Read or Die anyway, but I wouldn't say Read or Die is like amazing. You need to watch it tomorrow. I was introduced to Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan, and I thought that was bad.
God. I know that show. That is
I thought it was bad.
You're right, that's definitely a weird pick. That's a interesting show.
So let me read that one for you. And then Patrick, if you can think of one go, or Vicky think of one go, I got one more just in my pocket to pull out in a second. So Bludgeoning Angel Dokuro-chan, or Dokuro, whatever, is a Japanese light novel series written by Masaki Okayu and illustrated by Torishimo. It centers on a teenage boy and a killer angel from the future who constantly gets him into trouble and kills him violently and repeatedly, often removing his head with her spike club named Excalibur, only to resurrect him seconds later.
It gets a little bloody and gory, but it's like fun bloody and gory. It's like playful bloody gory. I think
she's basically a prototype of a yandere.
Wow.
Yeah, yep. But she follows through. She really does. She follows through every episode.
Straight up kills him.
Yeah.
But only him. It's prototype. She hadn't figured out all her quirks yet. I watched like one episode. I'm like, no, I don't get it. So
there was this one anime. I wonder if this is the one you're talking about, where it's like this guy gets killed and comes back as a zombie, like bound to this girl that killed him, I think, or something.
That sounds like the first episode of like 3 different shows I never watched.
I know, right? It's
yeah, that's a good plot.
That sounds super familiar. like one of them's like God kills him, and then it's like I'm in love with God, or I want to love the angel. Blah. So I don't know. Anyway,
it wasn't. It was just like this girl like accidentally killed this guy and brought him back, and he was a zombie. Yeah, and like she was trying to like be like, "This is your life now. You just got to get used to it." And he was like, "No, and I literally only like saw the first episode of it.
I don't know if this is the anime, but is this a zombie? I mean, I don't know if that's the anime of the show. Koro wa zombie desu ka? Or is that something totally different?
It might be. Let me look.
Alright, while you two look that up, here's another terrible anime. So, I was at, I think it was Suncoast before they died and went to heaven, or one of those type shows, back in early 2000s, and I was trying to get some anime just because I could do that, I guess. And so I walked in there, and I was looking for an anime. I was like, I like swords. I like samurai. So I bought a show that no one should buy because it's bad. It is called Samurai Deeper Kyo. Have you heard of this?
I've heard of that.
Have you heard of this show? Oh, it's terrible.
Isn't it just...
It's trash. So, here's how you know this show is trash. The first episode has like a 12-second pan instead of actual animation. Like, you're just watching it, and it's just
That's
like
a long time.
panning shot, panning shot, panning shot. And I'm like, whoa, this is a really long panning shot. Panning shot. Still panning. All right, now zoom out, now pan up. Okay, now zoom out, now pan in the direct. Like, it's like, oh my god, this show. And the action is like, the story is kind of It's about a samurai. He has to kill demons who are also human samurai, ninja, whatever the fuck. It was bad. I watched all 4 of those episodes. I still have the stupid DVD. It's a bad show. Do not watch it.
Wow. Also, update. It is called Is This a Zombie? And it'll be a future pick at some point because it was so good. So weird.
Oh, it's good. Why are we talking about... Okay. If it's weird, I guess.
It is.
I'm looking for bad picks too, though.
Okay, bad pick. Bad show, hot take. Not hot take. School days. It's just... School days.
Yep.
It will always... That's an easy pick, but like, you gotta mention it. It's one of those shows.
I haven't watched it, but I've definitely watched the entire YouTube video about why it's bad.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the ending just real quick. Do you remember the ending of School Days?
I believe we mentioned it before, but it was like a light novel. Wait, what's the like a light novel, visual novel, or game, right?
I think it was Arrowgate.
Yep,
I think it was Arrowgate.
But then they basically animated one of the worst endings like you could get in the game, where he dies horribly or whatnot, and like there's a
so basically he has sex with everybody. Then one girl tries to kill him and dies. Then the other girl kills him and then kills herself.
Wow.
Yep.
They pick a bad end.
That's one way to end a thing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and they're all high school students, so high drama and everything. Yeah. And dude was getting around. He was getting all around.
10 out of 10. Jeez, it's in the worst way. It's 10 out of 10 and out the worst way. In our edgy list, it's just there's some. Yeah, it's just bad. Trash.
Yeah. One last thing to add on to the how you know if you're at intermediate level, you have to be able to distinguish who's the good guy in anime when there's religion involved, the angel or the demon.
The demon.
Who's the good guy?
It's always
demon.
The demon. It's always the demon.
Always demon.
Because for some reason in Japan, Christianity has a lot of evil ass angels.
Hey.
Well,
they're all angels are also demons. Well, I mean, whichever sect you want to pull from, I guess.
From a Christianity perspective, I believe all demons were angels.
Angels, yes.
Not the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they're still, like, angels are all bad, so, I mean.
It's so... Yeah. I remember the first time it really clicked. I was watching D.N. Angel.
Oh my god!
That's a good pick for this. That's terrible. Yes. Oh my
god!
There's
a show. I'm I don't know if I want to watch this. This is not the best show. But let me say this. There's one song from D&N Angel I will rock out to.
Yes,
today.
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean.
So good.
Oh god.
like I have that like 30-second clip in my car sometimes. It just pops up like, yes.
To
Okay.
refresh my memory of D and Angel, it's not the one where I want to say like the sister's in love with the brother.
I don't think so.
It's
there is DNA. There is DNA like Squared, which is a different show entirely. But D and Angel is when you have main character high school kid has some interaction with like an angel or some crap. Mm-hmm. But then also he's like a phantom thief. It's
that
convoluted,
one.
honestly.
Okay. Yep. So I was like, I know there's one where it's like an angel is involved, and it's like it gets weird. It gets real weird, real fast.
No, yeah, there's like the kid version where they're like younger kids, and there's like this older one where they're like depicted as older, and that one's weird. That one gets into places.
Speaking of angels and Japan's opinions on Christianity and such, anyone have any opinions on "Oh My Goddess" or "Oh My Goddess" or the variations that come from that?
No, that's I was a fan. As a young adolescent, I'm a fan. Now I haven't seen it, and I haven't seen it until it's like watching. It was the Tenchi Muyo, like kind of the era. Like I was watching DNA, like "Oh My Goddess," Tenchi Muyo, like.
Because the thing about "Oh My Goddess" is that it's like a it's technically not a harem anime. Mm-hmm. Because he's not interested in anyone else. He's not pursuing anyone else. He's trying to marry the goddess. She's down with it. And then there's Erd and the other one. I don't remember that much more than what I just said. And I've only really watched like 7 total episodes of the entire series.
Wow.
Because it's not a bad show, but it's slow. And I don't think it goes anywhere. I don't think he ever does anything. I think he just goes to school. He works on motorcycles or engines or something. He works for the go-kart club. And then they date, sort of. And she's a goddess. And that's stuff happens. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I know that series has gone on for, or had gone on for a very, very long time by the time I tried to get into it.
Yeah, I don't recall too much of it, but I do remember watching that back in the day.
There's an anime that was a manga as well, as most of them are, that had a little controversy back in the early 2000s because the main character was a goddess, but she wasn't pure. And so, so Japanese context was, of course, she had never had sex before. And that was not explicitly stated in the manga, to my knowledge, of the controversy at the time. But the whole point was that, like, she wasn't pure, and it was this whole thing. But it was a pretty... I thought it was an interesting anime. I cannot remember the name of it. But honestly, when I think of Konosuba and the goddess, what's her name? I gotta look around for the thing that Vicky got me. There's the pillow. Aqua. That's it. She kind of looks like Aqua, but like in the past, in the olden days. That was a good anime, but I cannot remember what it was. But she was basically like a earth spirit. But then she was like hanging out with a dude, and now I'm trying to remember what it was. But that was I don't know. It was deeper than it had any need to be as a show. So it was different. It was unique in that way. Oh.
I'm trying to find this one where it's like these teens are getting together, and it's like they have so much trouble like getting together, and then their parents get together and actually get married or something, and like they think they might be related, but it's too late because they're in love. But then they find out they're not related.
So not Bunny Drop is what you're saying.
It's not Bunny Drop. It's teens, but it was wild.
It's not Domestic Girlfriend, right?
I was going to say Domestic Girlfriend, but that's not it.
Mm-mm.
It's not Onagai Twins, because that also is a plot point.
No. Like, I remember watching it for some reason. Really into it. but it's trash.
Of course, I know.
No.
Of course, you're really into Vicky.
No.
We would already know that, right, Cori?
No. This is back when I was still trying to like be into like the girly animes. It was so shoujo. It was a romantic comedy, not even comedy, I think. But it was just wild how it was like they wanted to get together and they couldn't, and they didn't, and then they did, and it was like, oh no, what if we're related? And it was like, it doesn't matter. We're in love, and then they find out they're not related, and it's like, wow. It's
okay.
Pretty much.
Thank God we didn't have accidental, purposeful incest. Yay.
Oh my goodness. Like, Vicky, you were saying that plot point, I was like, that, like, so many anime, like, yeah, okay, this is just,
Yeah.
That's just a plot point. At this point, that's just a plot point in future anime.
Yep. And I cannot find the title. So if you know, leave it in the comments.
There's gonna be like so many like names. Is it this one or this one or this one? Like maybe, probably. Yeah, it's kind of hard to find. I'm trying to think like of any strange or weird anime. I would assume that there were more experimental anime back in the day, and that's nowadays when
in
watching
the 90s, that was
90s,
80s, 90s. That was like the best time to get experimental stuff.
Exactly. So I can see like, oh, if they were like, and then like following up down to 2000s, and then the 90s to 2000s. I'm trying to think. I'm sure that's where we got some big hit or misses. But I guess when I think about current anime, I feel like there's like a standard or like a formula that they've kind of made. That is just kind of hard to get a weird, strange anime nowadays, or maybe we just accept it, these weird plot points, in the current anime era.
Yeah,
I definitely think that there's a lot of weird anime that gets aired all the time. We just don't always hear about it.
Yeah,
And then, I don't know. There's always recency bias. Like, if I look on a list of things, I'm trying to find this anime about this one character who reminds me vaguely of Aqua in her basic appearance. All I can do is like goddess in anime, and then hope I find it. Like,
yeah.
The recency bias is strong though. Like, if it's not hugely popular, you won't see it. Or if it doesn't have God in the title, like Kami-sama no Kisu or Oh My Goddess, I'm not going to find the anime unless I have a really good memory of what it is. Like, Noin is a great example of a weird show. It's just weird. It's different. It's unique. It's interesting. I've never heard anyone ever mention it before, and I've always had a hard time remembering the name of it. And I watched it, and I always was like, yeah, that show with the... I don't even know how to describe... And I still don't know how to describe the show.
I still don't know how to describe it either. It's just like, okay, here's the... It's one of those shows that you just have to watch, and you're like, I still don't understand what's going on. Like, we watched the first episode, being Cori. We watched the first episode, I'm like, I still don't know what that's going on. You're gonna need... This is back in the time when, like, you need to watch 2 or 3 episodes to understand, like, what is this show about. Otherwise...
That's definitely a show that if you watch one episode, you're like, what?
You just like wasted 25 minutes. You're like, I don't even know what I got from that show. Like, it's about there were high school kids, and then there's this interdimensional dragon.
They were not high school kids.
No, not high school.
They were elementary kids.
Elementary. Okay,
those are like 9-year-olds.
And then there's this and there's this weird being from the sky, and like there's this weird hand monster. I don't know. It was just so strange. The parallel to it was just like, I don't know what is this show about. Is it a fighting anime? Is it a slice of life? It's definitely not. May not be any of those at all. But yeah, we've come at an impasse. That's a hard to find these animes. Again, like you said, I guess we don't really know about them because they're not advertised, or we just don't directly seek these shows, right?
But that's why we do what we do. We get the new list, we take a look, we see what's good, we censor out the porn, and or at least we try to, Vicky.
Vicky. Try to.
And then we give you our impressions, on anime new and old. Stuff we know we like, stuff we know we don't. Stuff that Vicky wants to torture me with.
You pick your own torture most of the time.
Yeah,
I will torture you.
I've done a decent job.
These next 2 weeks are going to be torture.
Oh, yeah.
Look, when I torture other people, at least it's good. It's fun. It's enjoyable. It just takes a while. It's a little effort. You know, I ask more from everyone, and then I pick.
You got that Karma Sutra torture, just 50 minutes long, and just
tantric torture is what you're talking about.
Tantric torture.
Tantric torture. All right.
That's what that anime was. It was tantric anime watching. Yeah. And it's like, ain't nobody got time for that. I want to hit it and quit it in 24 minutes.
Yes.
Anytime I could hit it twice, I got only one hit for this 150. I can watch 2 episodes. I can hit it twice, 2 episodes, but this one episode, too long. We could have hit it twice. Jesus, like. Oh.
All right.
It's too much.
This has been your host, Tantric Torture, with my co-host, Hit It Twice, and my second co-host, I just want to get done. We talked about Katanagatari, Sword Tale, a great show that lasts a little longer than it needs to. So hit pause at 25 minutes and come back later. I have been your host, Cori. This is your host, Patrick.
See you later, guys, and watch Katanagatari. Watch it for the plot, the real plot.
The true plot. And the next week we will be watching Paranoia Agent, hosted by your other host, Vicky.
Let's get weird and wild.
And I hope your bowl of katsu was fantastic. Taku always enjoys it. This has been Otaku Katsu. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.